bond or test that bond?
Well, certainly. I was asking Margie. Sorry, John. Sorry.
Well, I think certainly Secretary Clinton's efforts, I have a lot of confidence in her efforts, and I think it's going to strengthen the bonds that we traditionally had with Israel. And I think it's also an important reminder that for our own political dialogue to really not interject our own tense politics on a situation that is so serious and so rapidly evolving. The situation's obviously serious enough without our own partisan politics entering that discussion.
All right, so Laura, as you brought up a third intifada in your piece today in the Daily Beast, you wrote this of Israel: although a ceasefire is inevitable in the next few days, the Israeli bombardment and threat of a ground invasion has pushed Palestinians in the West Bank and elsewhere ever closer to revolt. As we look back just over the last 12 years of what we've seen happen there and the violence that took place, and then the calm, and then the violence would rage again, you feel that this is just the tip of the iceberg?
I mean, we need to see the big elephant in the room here, and the big elephant that this conflict never been really touched. What I mean by this, we had a peace accord 1993 between Israeli and Palestinians signed by both sides, but never implemented. Palestinians, in the end of the day, really never had a chance to have their own freedom or even to build a life with dignity. This is what they've been asking over and over. And the more we delay this solution, the more actually we will push them in the hand of Hamas. The winner of this conflict today is Hamas. And the winner of this conflict actually for the next election will be Bibi Netanyahu, who ignored Abu Mazen, ignored the Palestinian Authority, and told them, I will give you nothing. And what you do is you undermine the moderates and you empower the extremists. You know, American administration need to be seen in this moment where these changes are happening in the Middle East as a fair broker. They've never been in the history. It's time for them to be a real fair broker with the Palestinians and with the Israelis.
Meanwhile, as all this is going on, Margie, I want to ask you about the Benghazi probe and the recent report that it was intelligence officials who changed Susan Rice's talking points, not the White House. Senator John McCain has come out to issue this statement on the heels of that, saying this latest episode is another reason why many of us are so frustrated with and suspicious of the actions of this administration when it comes to the Benghazi attack. So, Margie, I want to ask you, yet again, it goes back to the administration. So why do you think the president's team has been successful in efforts to stop the controversy despite this very strong defense of Rice that's coming out, that's coming from the president himself? Have they done enough?
Have they done enough to defend Susan Rice? I mean, certainly, I think the president's been very clear about how he feels about Susan Rice, and I think, and he's been right to defend her. I mean, I think some of the attacks that have come from Senator McCain and others have been very political in their tone, and really not thinking about, one, her job and the talking points that she received, and also the seriousness of the situation and the timing of when this political fight began, which was right in the middle of the heat of the election. And I think we're just seeing that continue now, and it's unfortunate because it's something that really the American people don't want. It's certainly something that is a distraction from really figuring out what's going on in that situation and other situations.
And Joe, Congressman Jim Clyburn, he really took issue with colleagues that have called Ambassador Rice incompetent. Take a look to what he had to say about that yesterday.
You know, these are code words. We heard them during the campaign. During this recent campaign, we heard Senator Sununu calling our president lazy, incompetent. These kinds of terms that those of us, especially those of us who were born and raised in the South, we've been hearing these little words and phrases all of our lives, and we get insulted by them.
So, Joe, what does your gut tell you about the fact that there are people on the left that say that this reeks of racism, reeks of sexism? How do you answer those that would suggest that is what is at the bottom of this controversy, something more?
Well, clearly we still have challenges with both racism and sexism in this country still. And Congressman Clyburn is one of the most respected members of Congress, and somebody who I personally like a great deal. With regards to Susan Rice, I would say this, that the American people deserve to know exactly what happened, and I think certainly Senator McCain's concerns are well-founded. I think Susan Rice is competent. I think she's a brilliant woman. I think that smart people make mistakes also, and that she just needs to be forthcoming, and the administration needs to be forthcoming about what happened with regards to Benghazi. We all deserve to know, and it shouldn't be put into the box of a racial attack. It should be put into the box of we all want to know what happened, and we deserve to know what happened, so we don't make the same mistakes.
You were thinking in your head, is it more about deserving to know? A lot of people would make an assumption about some type of cover-up, but isn't this more about protecting potential cover for what the U.S. interests are in Libya at this present time?